Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, October 11th of 2024, and TGIF. It is Friday. It is a nice way to relax and go into about your weekend. Well, markets have definitely taken a breather. They haven't really moved since yesterday. Well, I mean, after the CPI number coming in a bit more than expected. Higher volatility was expected. What should have done? We should have fluctuated, but we didn't. We actually yesterday, if you look at this daily chart, we saw that the market really just stayed within the previous day's range. Okay, and it kind of finished flattish. Right now, it is kind of trending lower. So if we were to open right now, we will be opening on the downside. But it is a weekend, okay, and obviously things are heating up and coming closer to that November 5th date. So let's see what's gonna happen with the preferred metrics of the Fed, which is PCE. That'll be next week. Banks have began the the final earnings season roundup, and we'll see that JP Morgan actually beat expectations. So that should bring obviously some at least to the stock. But let's see what will happen today in the indices. Let's use half an hour charts and take a look at what could be installed for us when the market opens. And as far as I'm looking at this chart in the Nasdaq, just basically low body candles. Okay, so very low volatility here. In this half an hour, the bands have pinched or squeezed. The moving averages are crossing over the 20 below from above the 50. So basically just again, very low volume, and I will assume that since there's no catalyst out there besides the earnings, banks reporting and other companies are starting to report, those things could probably bring some market volatility. But like JP Morgan, they reported before the bell, and a lot of them are going to report after the bell. So we probably won't see much happening during the day. I could be wrong. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's Friday. Take close your positions. If you're in the money, cash out. Take some money off the table and enjoy the weekend. As far as the S&P goes, same token in a way, but not really. The S&P does have a bit of fluctuation to the upside. It is coming back off that high, than new all-time high. It's like almost every single day, or every other 12 hours or 8 hours we hear about new highs in the S&P 500. So therefore, the S&P 500 is going to have more obviously of those companies that are going to be reporting in the first wave. So let's see if that will have some more of a volatility in this scenario. And just looking at this half an hour scenario, we could just we don't have to draw any lines to identify any level of support resistances in the S&P, because as resistance goes, we're going to have to just use the new all-time high as the highest point of resistance. And then support, well, market is below the moving averages, and the only support that we could do without drawing, obviously, it will be initially, look, this bottom right here, this is actually almost like a triple bottom, quadruple bottom here in this half an hour. And the Bollinger Band is also right near it, so this level, around this level, could be a nice level of support for S&P 500. And then moving lower, the 200 moving average is right around the 5,800 marker, and that's a strong psychological value. So we could use that as well. RSI is below the 50 marker, so that implies that some volatility to the bearish side is building up. But again, obviously we need to wait and see what happens when market opens. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial. So Dow also, just like its peer, S&P 500, also did an all-time high. So again, the resistance will be that level, and then in this scenario we do have the moving averages below the market, but this is right there. So 50-day moving average will be our first level of support. And then check this out, the lower Bollinger Band of that right, kissing that lower bottom created in this half an hour chart. So again, if market happens to does make a little fluctuation or correction after this parabolic movement in this candle, we could just speculate it'll come down towards this level and you no rebound and do a reversal. That could be one scenario out of many. And then we have crude oil. So crude oil, this is the Russell. So Russell, check this out. Nice fluctuation on this candles. So we have resistances here that we can use. The 20-day moving average within the Bollinger Band, the first one, the 50-day moving average, the second one, and then we'll just use the top Bollinger Band as resistances. And then obviously we have this zone, which is right here. So look, all of this nice zone right here. Wait, let me wipe it. What happened? Come on. So this level right here, you see that? All right, so this right here could be a nice cushion for the Russell, a nice level of support if it does happen to fluctuate lower. And then we have crude oil. Let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil in this half an hour has volatility really shown. We have fluctuated above that level of resistance we have placed before on it. So it jumps at me this volume cluster right here. So right around the 75.60 is where that points towards. So let's just use that as our probable level of resistance, target. Okay, initially we have the 20-day moving average as within the Bollinger Band again as a probable first level of resistance, and the market has fluctuated above that 50-day moving average, which acts as support. But the Bollinger Band is intertwining with the 200-day moving average, so that's a level of support of interest. So that could be our level of support, 74.80. I'm looking at this, and geopolitical uncertainty around the Middle East is still going on. It's going to continue to go on. So just being bullish, going with the trend. Nat Gas, on the other hand, has reversed trend. It was on a downward trend. Early in the week, with this Nasdaq did fluctuate down to that 250, and then from here it had rebounded. So it is continued to rebound, moving higher. We do have the 20-day moving average within the Bollinger Band again, crossing over the 200-day moving average from below. So that implies obviously some sort of a momentum to the upside. But obviously, in this case, in this moment, the market is retracing, probably just doing a correction. If that correction continues, this area, which is also the 220, that could be a nice level of support for it, or the previous low in that half an hour. All right, so that could be the case. A resistance, support to the 50-day moving average. So resistance is let's just use 257. Okay, it's right there. Let's use that and see how much further up we can go. And then gold is making a comeback. Okay, bouncing up this little double bottom, if you will, and fluctuating above the 20-day moving average. So 2650 is my target for a very short-term trade. Buying in right now. Boom, 2650, 2660. That'll be the resistance for it. And then obviously we have support, the lower Bollinger Band, the 50-day moving average, and the 200-day moving average, as is the support for gold. Silver. Aye, silver. So then we have silver fluctuating way above our level of resistance that we have placed. So let's just use this nice, upper Bollinger Band, which is, right perpendicular, right across horizontal, right across the board. So that's a nice level of resistance that we can come and see the target for it today. And then we have this, agglomeration of moving averages and the lower Bollinger Band as a probable level of support, which is right around $31. So going higher with silver. Then we have copper, also fluctuating, or kind of just violating the level of resistance we have placed. So I'm going to use the 200-day moving average as my possible level of resistance for copper. And then obviously we have the lower Bollinger Band as 440 initially, can also be used as a probable level of support. Bitcoin, after just fluctuating below 59,000 yesterday on the news, well, it's not a rumor, it's the news, that the U.S. Department is going to start selling off, what was it? I think 6 billion or 4.6 billion worth of Bitcoin from Silk Road that they have confiscated. So that's going to bring a lot of supply, that have brought a lot of supply to the market. But and that could have been the reason of the move, or the drop in Bitcoin yesterday. But it's recuperating fairly, a nice trade above 61,000. So that level of resistance is going to be used for today, 61,750, right around there. And then obviously the moving averages as a level of support. Then we have the currencies. The euro is looking strongly to stay north of 109, balancing off the lower Bollinger Band creating at the bottom right here. So nice setup for a reversal trade to get into it right now in this half an hour. The initial target, 50-day moving average, second, the 20-day moving average, and the third can either be the, obviously very conservative, the 109,400 or the upper Bollinger Band. So keep that in mind, but that's a nice setup for a nice trade to go along. Then we have the pound. The pound is also making a double bottom right here. It's fluctuating nicely to the upside. It has fluctuated as high as the 50-day moving average, and is retreating right now. Will that continue? Will the pound lose ground and just, is this just basically profit taking? Because if you sold, in order for you to come out in profit, you gotta buy it back, right? So that could probably be also the reason that this kind of win also for the euro. But let's see what the dollar index is doing, because it's gonna determine a whole lot how much pressure the dollar is gonna be putting on there. And the dollar index is just fluctuating to the upside. Check that out. So boom, boom, boom. Just the bands being pinched, squeezed, and boom, breakout to the upside. Let's see. Well, if it does happen to just do a correction to the downside towards the moving averages, then you could probably see a tick up on the currencies and metals. That's it for me today. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday.